How's it going, guys? It's K Cars, and today we are back with another Jeep Cherokee XJ video. So today I'm actually going to be going over exactly how much money has been put into my Jeep right here, and it's quite a bit more than I was expecting. So after I did like the whole calculation of everything, it was actually pretty surprising. So in this video, like I said, we're going to be going over literally every single expense that has gone into this Jeep right here ever since I got it about a year and a half ago. I feel like a lot of people on YouTube don't really like talking about like money and how much money they've spent on their bills and stuff like that. I figured since I haven't really seen many videos like that, I would make my own and hopefully help some of you guys out if you're curious. Basically, I broke down these expenses into 3 different categories. The first one I'm going to go over is literally everything from start to finish. That includes modifications, repairs, and basic maintenance. Second category is going to be expenses that I consider like modifications, things that aren't actually like required, just like, for example, the lift kit, wheels, and tires, things like that, and just modifications like that. The third category is going to be expenses for repairs and maintenance. The purpose of this video is just to kind of give you guys an idea of what to actually expect if you are planning to maybe restore your Jeep or build it up. Maybe if you're planning on getting a Jeep like this and you just want to know like the repair and maintenance costs that you could be expecting. So I'm hoping with this video you guys could be able to get a better understanding and idea of the kind of like money that would actually go into a Jeep, whether you're planning on building it up for off-roading, restoring it, or just keeping it stock, and kind of getting a better idea of the repairs and maintenance that would need to go into a Jeep like this. Let's go ahead and do a quick walk around my Jeep, and then we can go ahead and get into all the cost of it. All right, guys, so right here, like I said, this is my 2001 Jeep Cherokee XJ. This is actually the last year that they produced these XJs, and this is actually my favorite color as well. So this is called Patriot Blue. I definitely do like the look of this color on this Jeep as well. It definitely looks very good. Whenever I got this thing about a year and a half ago, it was $3,500, and it didn't really look anything like this. I actually got it completely stock, and it also came with a good amount of rust as well. Obviously, you guys can see we have a 3-inch lift on 31-inch mud tires. We do have a few other modifications as well. Obviously, you're going to go over every single thing in this video. And as for the rust on this thing, as you guys know, these things are known for having rusty rockers right here. This one actually had a pretty good sized hole on the back of the driver's side rocker right over here. I'll put up a quick video of that right here so you guys can see what it looked like before. As you guys know, these old Jeeps are known for having these rust issues, especially back here on the rockers. So obviously right now you can see we did get a good amount of work done to actually clean up all the rust on this thing. Another place that's pretty common to have rust is on the rear lower quarter panels back here. So if you guys can see that right there, that actually used to be all rusty, and half of that actually didn't even exist. As for the paint job, this actually is the original paint, I believe. It didn't look this glossy or this deep whenever I first got it. I did go through a whole like paint correction and ceramic coating process, which I will talk about, of course. But you can see just a quick walk around of what the paint currently looks like. It is a little bit dusty, but not too bad. So you guys can see the nice glossy paint right there. So yeah, just a quick walk around here, show you guys what it looks like before we actually get into all the mods and everything. So yeah, there it is. As you guys can probably imagine, a good amount of work has actually got into this Jeep to, you know, lift it, put the wheels and tires on it, and get rid of most of the rust on this thing. Let's go ahead and jump in the Jeep and talk about all the prices for literally everything that has gone into this thing. Guys, so like I said, this video is going to be broken up into 3 different sections. So first off, we're going to go over literally everything that has gone into this Jeep, and that includes modifications, repairs, as well as basic maintenance things. So starting off, the cost of the Jeep, I already told you guys that it was about $3,500 about a year and a half ago. So along with that, we do have some maintenance costs, and that's going to be 2 oil and oil filter changes. So for that, I got $80 right there. 2 quarts of transfer case fluid, and that was $23. A fluid transfer pump. So if you guys are familiar with the transfer case on this Jeep, you actually can't use a funnel on it. You actually have to use a fluid transfer pump to actually pump the fluid into the transfer case. So that was $11 right there. 4 quarts of diff fluid, $28. Brake parts cleaner, $6. RTV for the diff cover, $9. A K&N air filter, $68. Exterior LED lights plus the turn signal relay, that was $130 from onewaylight.com, and that includes all the exterior lights except for the headlights. And also, if you do LED turn signals, you do need to have a turn signal relay, so that was also included. LED headlights were $218. Those are from Quake LED. The little antenna here, let me show you guys what that is. This little antenna right here, that was $25. The stock antenna looked like a fishing pole, so I just got rid of that and put that little small one in there. 4 quarts of transmission fluid, $36. The transmission filter and transmission oil pan gasket, that was $22. The fuel vapor tube, I actually replaced that because I had a check engine light for the evap system. So I replaced the fuel vapor tube, that was $32. Throttle body cleaner, that was $4. Throttle body gasket, $3.29. So for that, I literally just cleaned out the throttle body and replaced the gasket, so nothing huge right there. Let's see, we have the tow hooks, $120. Those were from Rugged Ridge, the front tow hooks that I put on there underneath the bumper. Replaced the PCV valve along with the grommets that go in between the valve cover and the actual valves. Those were $27.27 for the 2 valves and the 2 grommets. I also replaced the little tube that goes from the valve cover to the intake manifold. And the whole reason that I did that was because whenever I took it off to actually replace the PCV valve, the actual tube like snapped in half. It was just extremely brittle, so it just snapped in half. So I replaced that. That was, let's see, $46. Not really sure why it was so expensive. I'm guessing maybe it's because it's such an old vehicle and these parts aren't like super common to make, so that's probably why it was so expensive. Next up we have spark plugs. Those were $17.94. Brand new coil pack, $240. Dielectric grease, so that's basically just grease that you put inside the boots of the coil pack where the spark plugs go, and that basically just like helps to give a better connection for the spark plugs. So that grease was $1.49. Spark plug gap gauge, that basically just ensures that you have the right amount of gap on your spark plugs. So the gauge was $2. And then of course we can't leave out the WeatherTech floor mats. Those are actually pretty expensive. Total was $316. Let me show you guys what those look like. I do have the WeatherTechs here in the front as well as the rear. Then I also do have the cargo mat as well back there. So the WeatherTech floor mats, those were $316. The valve cover gasket and the valve cover grommets, those were $25. So I just replaced the valve cover gasket because it had a whole bunch of like sludge buildup around it. So replaced that, 25 bucks for the actual gasket and the grommets. So next up we're going to move on to some rust removal that I did. So this is any kind of like professional work. This is just literally just like standing off surface rust and painting over it. So I wrote down around 2 cans of Patriot Blue spray paint. I wasn't sure exactly how many cans I got, so I just estimated 2. So $26 for that. Primer, 1 can of that, $10. Clear coat, $13. Touch-up paint, that's just like the little like pen tube thing that you use for little rock chips. I estimated that I had 2 of those, so 40 bucks. Not really sure why that was so expensive, but on Advanced Auto Parts, those things are like 20 bucks per tube, so $40 total. We also replaced the rear wiper arm, which was pretty rusty and it literally like didn't even move. I couldn't even pick it up and off the windshield. So the rear wiper arm was $23.99. We also replaced the rear wiper blade, which was $13. And now we're moving on to the actual modifications. So we have the Pro Comp wheels and tires. So specifically, I got the Pro Comp Series 51 wheels. Those are 15x8 with a 3.75 back spacing. And the tires are the Pro Comp Extreme MT2, 31x10.5 inches. Total for the wheels and tires was $1,242.64. I believe I got those from fourwheelparts.com if I'm not mistaken. And then the lift kit, so for that it's actually the Rusty's Off-Road 3-inch advanced lift kit. So for that I also included the price of labor to actually get the lift kit installed. Alright, so total for the lift kit and the labor to get it installed was $1,790, so almost $1,800. And as you guys know, I got the lift kit installed at Engineered Off-Road and also ordered the lift kit through that shop as well. So like I said, 1,800 bucks for the lift kit and the labor to get it installed. And this next one that I'm going to mention is actually the single most expensive purchase for this whole Jeep. That was actually for all the rust repairs to get all the rocker panels and the rear lower quarter panels replaced, as well as painted. And then they also did some descaling of the underside and then applied fluid film to the whole underside of the Jeep. So all of that in total was a little bit over $2,400. So we got that done at Johnson Built Customs. As you guys saw, the rocker panels and the rear lower quarter panels look pretty good now. Obviously no rust whatsoever. So that was definitely pretty expensive, but it definitely made it look a whole lot better and got rid of all that rust that was on the rockers. So next up we have the interior LED light bulbs. These were actually just the light bulbs that go underneath the gear indicator and the four-wheel drive indicator right here. So at first I actually replaced those with LEDs, but they ended up being a little bit too bright for my preference. So I ended up just replacing them with halogens and just like regular light bulbs. But I'm still going to include the price of the LEDs just because I actually did purchase them and, you know, never actually returned them. But like I said, I'm not actually using the LEDs. Those LEDs were about $20 right there. And then moving on to some more off-road modifications, I have the slip yoke eliminator and labor. So that was also purchased and installed by Engineered Off-Road. So that was, let's see, we have $865 for the slip yoke eliminator parts and labor. So for that, it's actually the advanced adapter slip yoke eliminator kit along with the Tom Wood CV drive shaft. So like I said, I believe the actual parts for that is like $535 maybe. The labor was around $250 or something like that. So like I said, parts and labor for the slip yoke eliminator, $865. Then something else that I mentioned at the beginning of this video was a paint correction and ceramic coating. So all the supplies for that was around $113. And for that I used spray clay from Meguiar's, a clay bar, quick detailer, Adams Polish's scratch and swirl remover along with their hand polish, 2 hex pads to actually apply the polish and the swirl remover. Then we also used a ceramic spray coating. Altogether, all the supplies for that was around $113. And I'll put up a clip right here of the actual end product of that. Alright guys, so here's the finished product after applying the spray ceramic coating. Yeah, I mean the side turned out pretty good. You can see it has a nice deep gloss to it. As you guys can see, after doing the whole paint correction and ceramic coating, in my opinion, it looked insanely glossy, very deep shine on that paint. So I was definitely pretty happy with how it turned out. And as you guys saw at the beginning of this video, it still does maintain that, you know, the gloss and the shine in the paint. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now we're going to move on to one of the repairs that I did. Now this is actually for the electric fan. I did that a few months back. I did an installation tutorial on that if you guys want to check out that video. But for that, the electric fan was just $113. It was a pretty easy install. Then some more cooling parts. We did get a lot of the cooling parts replaced, including the water pump, thermostat housing. We got a coolant flush, changed out some of the radiator hoses, probably a few other things that I'm forgetting here. But those cooling parts, the parts and labor were $1,286. Got all of that work done, parts and labor, from Dirt Nerds Motors. As you guys know, we recently bought new bumper end caps and we just installed those as well. So the bumper end caps total was $161 and I got that from carparts.com. If you guys want to check out that video, it's on my channel a few weeks ago. So that's everything we have so far. Obviously we're not done with this Jeep yet. There's always going to be things to add to this list. But now for the grand total for everything, including the price of the Jeep, we have $13,116.56. That includes the price of the Jeep and literally everything that has been done from start to finish, including maintenance, repairs, and off-road modifications as well. So the total, not including the price of the Jeep, is $9,616.56. As you guys see, what started as a $3,500 project Jeep turned into something that was $13,000. And I'm not sitting here complaining about that. I absolutely love this Jeep. I think it's a whole lot of fun to, you know, work on this Jeep and kind of see it evolve as time goes on and, you know, document everything for you guys. So I'm definitely not complaining about that. I think it's a really good hobby to have, really fun to, like I said, see this Jeep evolve and restore. So $13,000 for everything. That includes the price of the Jeep, as well as any maintenance, repairs, and off-road modifications. Now, you guys might sit there and thinking like that's a crazy amount of money to spend for a Jeep that's that old. But if you guys have been paying attention to the XJ market recently, then it has pretty much been skyrocketing. So, you know, I've put $13,000 into this thing. I could bet that I could sell it for 15 to 20. And you guys probably would call me crazy for actually thinking that somebody would pay that much money for a Jeep like this. But there definitely are people out there who would be willing to pay, you know, $15,000 to $20,000 for a Jeep like this. I saw a stock one go for $30,000 a few months ago. So, you know, it's definitely not impossible to flip these Jeeps for a profit, but that's not really what my plan to do is with this thing. I'm planning to keep this thing for, you know, as long as I can, not really planning to ever sell it. So now we know the total price of everything that has gone into this Jeep. Now let's go ahead and get into the off-road modifications. And this is basically just things that are not repairs or maintenance, just like extra aftermarket parts that I added onto this Jeep. So starting off at the top, I also included the price of the Jeep in this as well. So we have $3,500, and then I have the exterior LED light set, $130, and that's just the exterior LEDs minus the headlights. Next up we have the LED headlights from Quake LED, $218. The antenna was $25, tow hooks $120, wheels and tires $1,242, lift kit, parts and labor $1,800, rust repairs from Johnson Built Customs $2,400, slip yoke eliminator, parts and labor $865. So total for the actual like aftermarket modifications, or at least what I would consider aftermarket mods, is $10,298.14, and that includes the price of the Jeep. Not including the price of the Jeep, $6,798.14. So as you guys can see, this Jeep is basically like built up to the bare minimum of what you would want for off-roading. It literally only has like wheels and tires and a lift kit. If you're doing any kind of serious off-roading, you definitely want to get some lockers, definitely a winch, a tow strap, off-road bumpers and stuff like that. So this is literally like what I would consider the bare minimum for an off-roading Jeep. So you can see $6,000, not including the price of the Jeep, just for aftermarket parts. The whole reason for me wanting to do like the aftermarket parts, or like things that aren't really needed for this Jeep, like the lift kit, wheels and tires, I just think that things like that make this Jeep look a whole lot better. You know, like the tow hooks, the antenna, stuff like that isn't absolutely needed for a Jeep like this. So that's why I wanted to make like its own separate category and see how much those modifications added up to. And as you guys saw, almost $6,800, not including the price of the Jeep, $10,300 including the price of the Jeep. So that's the second category that I wanted to go over. And now for the third category, we have the price of the Jeep along with any repairs or maintenance. So for this, I'm just gonna, you know, read off the repairs or maintenance along with the prices. So for this, we also started off with the price of the Jeep, so $3,500. Oil filter and oil changes, I had 2 of those for $80. Transfer case fluid $23, fluid transfer pump $11, diff fluid $28, brake parts cleaner $6, black RTV $9, air filter $68, trans fluid $36, transmission filter and gasket $22, fuel vapor tube $32, throttle body cleaner $4, throttle body gasket $329, PCV valves and grommets $27. The tube that goes from the valve cover to the intake manifold was $46. Spark plug $17. Coil pack $240. Dielectric grease $149. Spark plug gap gauge $2. WeatherTech floor mats $316. I guess I probably should have included that in the previous section because it's not really a repair or maintenance, but anyways, WeatherTech floor mats $316. Valve cover gasket and grommets $25. Spray paint $26. Primer $10. Clear coat $13. Touch-up paint $40. Rear wiper arm $24. Rear wiper blade $13. Paint correction supplies $113. Electric fan $113. Cooling parts and labor $1286. Bumper end caps $161. And the total of all the repairs and maintenance, including the price of the Jeep, was $6,298.42. The total of all that, not including the price of the Jeep, is $2,798. So you guys can see that just repairs and maintenance, if you're just planning on restoring this Jeep and not actually like adding anything onto it, it's definitely a whole lot cheaper to do it that way than to actually add on a whole bunch of like aftermarket parts like wheels and tires or a lift kit or anything like that. So if you are planning on buying a Jeep and flipping it for a profit, I definitely would not recommend adding anything that's aftermarket, because that'll definitely eat into your profit. And Jeeps like this that are completely stock definitely go for a lot more money for like resale value than Jeeps that have like aftermarket modifications on them already. As you guys heard from that video, there definitely has been a whole bunch of work that has gone into this Jeep, but like I said, I'm not complaining about any of that. It's been a whole bunch of fun seeing how far this Jeep has gone in just the past year and a half that I've had it. Obviously I didn't do all the work. I have to give credit to all the shops that, you know, actually put the work, the real work into making this Jeep look like how it looks today. So like I said, engineered off-road for the lift kit wheels and tires, along with the slip yoke eliminator. Johnson Built Customs for the rust repairs, paint, rust removal, and undercoating. And then Dirt Nerds Motors for the cooling parts. I did do a lot of things to this Jeep as well myself, but you know, nothing crazy. All the things that I did to this Jeep were pretty basic, like the valve cover gasket, changing out the fluids, fuel vapor tube, things like that. So I did do a good amount of work to this Jeep as well myself. For the big jobs like the lift kit, wheels and tires, rust repairs, I definitely trusted those professional shops more than I trusted myself to do that kind of stuff. You know, down below if you guys would like to see a video of why I don't actually do like the big jobs on my own to my Jeep. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, hearing about all the different expenses and repairs that have gone into this Jeep over the past year and a half. Like I said, if you are planning on restoring a Jeep and selling it for a profit, I definitely would not recommend putting on a bunch of aftermarket parts, because those can add up very quickly, and as you guys saw from my little calculation there, aftermarket parts definitely cost a whole lot more than just repairs and maintenance. If you're getting an XJ just to resell it for a profit, then you're definitely going to make more of a profit if you keep it stock, because that's definitely what people want over one that already has a whole bunch of aftermarket parts on it. That being said, like I said, I'm definitely not planning on ever selling my Jeep Cherokee XJ here. I definitely want to try to keep it for as long as I can, do all the repairs, maintenance, and keep restoring it. So like I said, we're definitely still not done with this thing, but for the most part, I definitely do think that most of the work has already been done to this Jeep to, you know, restore it most of the way. Now, some of the future plans, if you guys saw in the beginning of this video, I still do have a pretty rusty rear bumper, so I do want to get that replaced along with the rear bumper end caps. We already did replace the front bumper end caps. If you guys want to see that video, make sure to check it out. It was a few weeks ago. But I do want to do the rear bumper at the same time as the rear bumper end caps, because the end caps have to actually come off to take the bumper off, so I figured we would just do all of that at the same time. That's why I haven't done the rear end caps yet. Just to give you guys a quick look here at the front bumper end caps, you can see they definitely look a whole lot better than what they used to look like, all faded. Now if you move back to the back end caps here, you can kind of see they are a little bit faded in color here. You can kind of see they do have a little bit of scratches as well on them. And then let me show you guys what the actual rear bumper here looks like. You can see all the rust on the rear bumper right there. So I definitely do want to get that replaced, and that's one of the next things on my list of things to do to this thing. Of course, the next expense to add to the list. I hope this video helped some of you guys get a better understanding of how much money and how much effort and work it actually takes to restore and build up a Jeep like this. Like I said, definitely not complaining about it, because if I was complaining about it, then I wouldn't have gotten into this thing at all. So it's definitely a pretty good hobby to have. It's definitely a pretty good money pit as well, but that's the whole fun part of it. Like I said, I hope this video was helpful. If you guys have anything to add, or if you guys want to share any of your experiences with your XJ, definitely drop those down in the comments below. And if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure to also drop those down below in the comment section as well. And if you guys have any video suggestions for videos you would like to see in the future, make sure to drop those down below in the comments as well. And if you guys like this video or found it entertaining, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.